Welcome everyone to Town Hall 144. It's Wednesday, February 18th, 2026, even though it says 2025. So I almost said 2025, but then I was able to catch myself. Let's go on to the next slide.
I just made my first appointment for 2027 this morning, so I'm ahead of the
Mm,
game.
I
You
don't know
always
if Mike,
are.
I don't know if Mike's here today, but my name's John Best. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Best Innovation Group, and we started this town hall many, many years ago in response to the pandemic. Just didn't know what else to do. So we said, well, one thing I know that would be helpful is that if everybody could get together and share some notes on what they're doing, and I thought it would be over once that was kind of done, but here we still are, and we're still doing it many years later. And very fortunate when I initially decided to do it. I reached out to Mike Lawson. I said, dude, if I'm going to do this, I need your help. And he said, done. Not even a question. And so very happy to have worked with him. And then we have our other two kind of hosts that have sort of grown with the program. And one is the host of the Big Cast and my partner in crime in a lot of media things, Glenn Sarvati, which is I think he gets his own big screen here if I remember right.
I
And
hope
then
not.
the other one would be Lou Gurley, who is in his library of many, many, many books, all of which he's read that are behind him there. So welcome everybody. Let's keep going here. Next slide. So special thanks to today's sponsor, Illuma Labs. Malind, just doing incredible things, and very excited to have him sponsor us, and we're looking forward to. Hopefully, I'm going to see him soon out in our next event, which I'm very excited. Which I'm pretty sure we probably have a slide on here. Um, which is CU Unplugged. Let's. Oh, by the way, if just a quick spot for Luma Labs, especially in the AI world, as AI picks up more and more, this product is more and more important, not just from the perspective of its anti-fraud capabilities, but just the strategic high ground of authenticating people and making it more seamless. I just can't say it enough for the good work he's done in the industry. All right, let's keep going. Yeah, see you unplugged. Brian, you ever been to a unconference? Didn't you go with me to one? Did you come with me to the one in Silicon Valley one time?
I didn't. I remember getting your debrief, but I wasn't there, unfortunately. You did invite me. I just was rude
Yeah.
and did not attend.
So if you haven't come to a conference like this, it's pretty wild. The way it works is there are no speakers. It's you have a bunch of rooms, and let's say that you want to come in and talk about stable coins or agentic AI, or maybe you've got a group and you've got a product like UiPath and you want to find a place where you can really sit down and talk to some folks, or you're looking to maybe start an industry objective. Um, the whole point of it is that it's an unconference and everybody gets together and decides the agenda on the morning of the meeting. And then we break out into those agendas and everybody gets to go and sort of host those meetings and talk. Um, it's been going on for years and years with some other groups, and I just thought, wow, we're such a collaborative group. This wouldn't work with a lot of other industries, but I really think there's a tremendous opportunity for the Crayon space. It's going to be March 30th through April 2nd, and out in San Francisco. And Visa has graciously given us access to their innovation center, which is in Mission Rock. If you've never been there, it's a great spot. We've got some fun events lined up, but it's just it's a great place to get together and really kind of pull together industry ideas and follow through on them. So we're hoping this will become a thing. We're real thankful for DCUC, the Defense Credit Union Council, who Tony and his group who joined us. And if you're interested, you can get $100 off today. Um, Love to see you there. It's going to be I think a really good time. I've got some surprise guests coming, and yeah, come check it out. Brian will be there, right, Brian?
Now I will. Yeah, after that intro.
Speaking of that, if you're interested, we have a group called the Innovation Club, and our primary purpose is to spot the innovations that are coming around the corner before they hit. we've been very fortunate to have a really great cohort for the last 3 or 4 years, and we're looking to expand it. If you're interested, come. You can get a guest one to come check it out. Just this week, we were going over agentic AI and orchestration. We try to look at the 5 to 7 years as opposed to 2 to 5. We're trying to sort of figure out what's coming down the pike a lot further. And we've talked just our most recent meeting, we had the chief architect from IBM of their quantum cloud computing side, and we spent 2 days with him, which was mind blowing. And what that's going to mean for the world. That's our next big oh my god moment, that's coming. So if you're interested, come check it out. Love to have you. Just take a picture of the QR code or just go to www.big-fintech.com. All right. I don't need this slide. I am very fortunate to have known the gentleman who's joined us today for many, many, many years. We've lived sort of parallel lives in the industry. He's certainly someone I respect and appreciate in the industry, and I'm very excited to hear about this new product. I assume it's 3D printing of homes based on the name, and I'm very excited because I've always wanted a 3D printed home. So. Um, He's God, he's done so much stuff over the years, and I've had the good fortune of being along for that ride, using his software over the years, really benefiting from his leadership in the industry, and his wife's leadership in the industry. I mean, he's a family guy, has done some incredible things, and his somebody said, "Oh, he's actually my son called me and said he's out and he's got something new." I said, "Whatever it is, I want to know about it. I want him on the show. I want to hear." Because it's just been success after success after success, and it's always in support of the Craigian space, and we're just I'm lucky to know him and glad he's here. So I don't know if I could give much of a better of a response. Glenn, you want to tear him down a bit, talk about how
Yeah,
he owes you money or something?
I had
that's
never
very kind, John.
I had not noticed before the Dean and DeLuca part of your resume. That's a fascinating
This thing
addition.
is really old one, yeah, actually, but yeah, that's why I love food. That should spell it all out. My core competency is eating, as you know. So very kind
Awesome.
intro, John. Thank you.
And
Oh no.
you've got your colleague with you as well?
Sam,
Yeah, let's introduce Sam.
jump in.
Sorry, Sam.
Yeah, hi everyone. My name is Samantha Ziesmer. I'm the COO of Movement. I've been working on and off with Brian over the last several years, both with Movement and historically at TrueStage. I was at TrueStage for about 13 years, and prior to that was within the health tech space. So did work with a company called Epic doing electronic medical record software launches both here and internationally, and have been in fintech now, launching products to market under TrueStage and now under Movement for about the last 7 years.
Is it in the
So
Madison City Charter that anybody who lives there has to work at Epic at some point? It
Yeah,
seems
you have to do a stint. It's
I
part,
thought so.
it's part of
Yeah.
it. Yep.
Epic being not the gaming company that provides Fortnite, but the healthcare
EHR.
company.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the EHR company. Yes.
yeah. I presumed she was in charge of loading what I presume to be cement or something into the 3D printers that makes the homes. So,
I am shocked
um,
you don't already have a few, pre-printed and
oh, don't think I haven't
3D
started
printed homes.
trying.
Yeah, no, exactly. I'm sure you've got that going on. You've always been the visionary of this industry, John. So it's
Well, thank you for that.
great to see you and Glenn and Mike and Lou and the team here. So really appreciate the welcome.
Awesome. Well, Glenn, Glenn's our ultimate interviewer. I'm curious. I spent some time on the website this week. I'm very curious to learn more, but I'll let Glenn walk us through uh, and Lou, and we'll oh, Mike's here. Mr. Lawson.
Hi,
Also, Mike, I presume you've already interviewed Brian because, he probably went to you first. And
Brian. Who? Brian? Who?
Yeah,
What?
never met Mike
yeah,
before. I don't know what
yeah.
you're talking
Nice to meet you. Yeah.
about. Great to see you, Mike.
Good to see you, sir. And Samantha too.
I'll just throw a prompt out there. I mean, I know the True Stage background. Obviously, that was Brian and I guess Samantha, both of your most recent stops.
Yeah.
And digital storefront is this movement is a rebranding of digital storefront. Can you talk a bit about the journey, about exactly and I believe there's some private equity money or venture capital money that came into the mix as well. Can you kind of talk about how the movement began. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll throw a few comments in, and Sam, should add. Bottom line, this, like so many fintechs and even credit unions, and there's a lot of rebranding and renaming going on. And I will say, just to start, John or Glenn or Mike, have you ever seen me wear, branded
No,
merchandise before,
no,
corporate wear? I'm
Nope.
serious. I think this is
nope,
the first
not the
time.
first. I
No,
was thinking, I thought actually that was something you did with AI.
I
Like, you could put glasses on yourself or something. Because
exactly.
if you're not in this suit, yeah, I'm very, very. I presume that's Samantha's influence on you, I guess. I don't know.
Well,
Yeah.
Sam, and then we have a wonderful head of growth, marketing, client success, Gabby Champagne, and she came up with a brand. And if I didn't wear this, I would be in serious trouble. So I've finally learned to listen. So it's shocking. I actually saw Blesson, with Aviary this morning, and he was almost fell out of his chair at the coffee shop
Oh yeah.
because I had, branded merchandise. So Glenn, just a quick background. So really the business started as QNexus. So credit to the founders, ultimately coming out of Redwood Credit Union. Figure it started around 2010. True Stage Ventures invested in 2016 and 2018. True Stage acquired the QNexus business in 2020. We re-platformed it for the cloud, finished the cloud build really probably around 2022. And that's really where Sam and I started really working together on that. So we were part of TrueStage FinTech Solutions, which was an amalgamation of various products and technologies built and acquired, et cetera. But in 2022, we really zeroed in and focused on what was called QNexus, then TrueStage Digital Storefront, to your point, Glenn. And then in October of last year, we spun out. We were acquired by a great investment group that focuses very much on this industry called Demopolis Equity Partners. So I know all of you are pretty familiar with them and spoken with the team. Mike, I'm sure you've spoken with them many, many times, and likely Glenn. So Demopolis Equity Partners also has Typhone, Nuvia, and Payfinia as portfolio companies. They're big fans of the kind of credit union space and do invest in QSOs. So long answer to your question, the product really started as QNexus as an on-premise solution way back when, acquired by TrueStage. TrueStage, a phenomenal company, obviously so focused on this industry or this movement, put a lot of capital into getting this thing ready for the cloud and expanding it, going from loans, deposits, and non-interest income like insurance and payment protection products. And then we spun out to go back to being a cool standalone fintech with cool investors and truly a kick-ass board, which we can bore you with later. But that's been the journey. Um,
And, and,
so
and just along the way, how many implementations? I was just looking at the website and looking at the app. Um, just curious so did all those carry over and all of the previous business came with it?
Yeah, great question. So the whole, the group came over. So our team and our clients and the platforms came over. So we're still supporting those running on the on-prem, on what we call, Movement Classic version. We're very much supporting them. We've got the Movement Cloud version. Over 100 clients, obviously came over, and then our whole team came over. So
Does
really,
that mean
it's
Guido's hiding around here somewhere?
well,
Nice.
the bit of issue, but yeah, I'm actually in that office right now
Yeah, yeah.
in New
Tell
York.
him to come by. I love Guido.
Yeah, no, of course, everyone does. So yeah, to answer your question, it was an investment, and we are now just a standalone fintech with the team, the clients, and the technology really focused on driving growth for the business.
You mentioned you are a QSO at this point?
We
Oh,
are
you're
not a
not.
QSO. We're wholly owned by Demopolis Equity
Totally.
Partners.
The True Stage is out of the mix at this point.
Yeah, we have a 3-year partnership with TrueStage. So we'll continue to embed their products, and we're working really closely on distribution. And they've been just such a wonderful partner as we've kind of moved out to become a standalone fintech and move at the speed of a fintech, shall we say? But TrueStage does not have ownership, just a deep partnership and obviously a shared history.
So you mentioned, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, and Sam, you mentioned a little bit about your background. Brian, you were at True Stage Ventures in a variety of fashions for 7.5 years, roughly, something like that.
Yeah, so I wasn't part of True Stage Ventures. I just tried to annoy them as often as possible, which I still do. And I think all of you are probably well aware of that. Yeah, basically, I came over as part of the Finovation acquisition. So in 2018, True Stage, actually, the analytics group had acquired Finovation, which, was my old company. So I came into True Stage or Keen Mutual at the time, as part of FinTech then, and then just had various roles within the fintech group. The way I was describing True Stage, again, this is according to me, nothing official, but yeah, obviously the primary, core part of the business, being insurance and protection products. And then second, we've got the venture group and then the software group, which was the fintech solutions group. We had various products and solutions over the years. So I came in 2018 from there and then jumped into the what was digital storefront and now movement in 2022, we'll say.
So you spent some time, in a variety of roles there. What is it about, and this is probably a good question for both of you, but maybe first off, for anybody who doesn't know exactly what movement does in the space and what it was about this opportunity that really resonated with you that made you decide this is a great one to kind of,
Yeah,
fly
that's
separately.
such a great point. My first thought was, okay, I knew he was into this because we had chatted about it before, but um, I was just curious to see how where it went, and I now that I'm looking, I see it, but I'll let him run with it.
Yeah, no, I was going to, Sam, why don't you go ahead and dive in with your perspective and I'll toss mine in as well.
Yeah, so maybe just to level set a little bit what Movement provides from a platform perspective, and then we can kind of talk about what was the draw to continue on with Movement as a company. The platform really has expanded, like Brian mentioned, from really a lending tool supporting firm offers of credit being surfaced to members to really an embedded finance platform where we are serving up offers that are those firm offers of credit, but also deposit promotions, also really any service or offering that a credit union is looking to promote. We can serve those offers up and leverage the data that a credit union has about their members to really have those offers be personalized, timely, resonate with those members in terms of where they're at in their financial journey, and really create a sticky platform for credit unions to be able to flex with their own operational strategy. And so if a credit union's focused on new membership growth, they're running new member campaigns through the Movement platform. They're sending out those offers, attracting those members in. If they're focused on converting indirect members to deepen those relationships, the tool and platform can flex to those use cases. And so it really becomes an all-servicing marketing engine that is driving extreme growth for our credit unions that are leveraging it to position these offers within their digital ecosystem, but also position offers for their staff. I think it's another really key piece of the Movement platform is these loan offers, these deposit promotions, these really specific personalized services are at their staff fingertips. So whenever someone's calling in, whether it's through the call center or stopping into a branch, those credit union staff are able to take advantage of those offers as well. And so it really has expanded over the years, especially with the investment that TrueStage made into the platform to reposition it on the cloud, to build out a deposits direct account opening module that allows for the direct opening of share certs, of savings account, of money markets, to really become a tool in the arsenal of credit unions to say, what are we trying to achieve as an organization? And then how do we flex our marketing and campaign strategy around those goals?
You
And so,
know,
yeah,
but
really extensible.
when I first saw it, my very first thought was indirect.
Yeah.
That's a nut we're all trying to crack. And I was looking at the demo piece of it. I remember speaking to someone who I think is using it for that very reason to try to deepen the engagements and the always difficult indirect, you know, members that are acquired through that channel. Is
Yeah, it's a really sweet spot campaign direction to take. And with the platform, you can run unlimited campaigns in parallel. So you could have an indirect campaign running that's very specific to that target audience. You can curate the offers that are served up. You can curate the marketing collateral that is running alongside that campaign. But then you can have your more traditional loan and deposit campaigns running for your members simultaneously. So
Mm.
lots of flexibility with the platform. Again, a tool for lending departments, a tool for marketing departments, a tool for sales teams to really drive growth at a credit union in a meaningful way that is trackable and reportable and obvious.
Yeah,
And
and
this
that's
is
good.
all this is all white labeled. The movement name is not exposed to the member or potential member.
Correct.
Not
It's all white
exposed.
labeled, and there's key pieces of the platform where credit unions can put in their own branding, so imagery can be consistent with their other digital assets, font, colors, all within the realm of being able to really match up with what that credit union is looking for, again, to create that really seamless experience.
Yeah, the broader thesis here, and I tortured Mike with this at one point earlier, but credit unions are friends and family. They are not growing at the pace that they should be. I was quoting, Butch Leonardson of "We should be ashamed of ourselves." Where credit unions have this great asset, their data, and it's proven if you personalize things for a member or any consumer, they're going to respond. So our whole focus is one, help credit unions grow and compete. How do you want to do it? Drive loans, deposits, and non-interest income, and specifically how have a personalized offer engine, and then have these offers embedded in internal channels, digital banking, contact center branch, and external print, email, SMS, social, and agentic. Really, this is all about getting those personalized offers in place, exposing it via API, and plugging it in wherever the financial institution wants to, based on, to Sam's point, what their strategy is, what their marketing conditions are, what their, how they want to manage their balance sheet. So that's, really about how do we help our friends and family grow? How do we grow and compete? Because with everybody, with the SoFis and the Chimes and Nubank and everybody coming in, let alone the big banks and, other scenarios, we think it's really important that, we provide a platform that helps the credit unions, personalize offers and compete here.
Speaking of that, just a quick question. So, knowing you like I do, talk to me about that, completion, the last, the last few inches is what we used to call it.
Yeah.
It's one thing to get the ad out there and get it to the right person at the right time on the right channel. And I'm hearing all that. I'm hearing the coverage on the branches, whether it's in the call center. So I presume if I hang out in the parking lot, some guy will come over with a giant
Oh,
go like this and
100%.
show it
Yeah.
to me. But
Good
how
strategy.
is it, the where the rubber meets the road for these that I've always found is the ability to sort of finish the job when they say they want it. Just curious. And you have a lot of background in that. That's where I thought this was an interesting marriage with Concerto and some of the other stuff that you've
Yeah.
done.
Well, kind of chuckling is you have a ton of background in all this as well. Yeah. So the flow essentially is, the members coming in via digital banking, or they're contacting the contact center, or they're in the branch, or interacting with any of the outbound channels. But they ultimately are coming into the Movement platform. If it's a loan app, if it's a loan, whether it's a pre-approved loan, that meaning that they haven't had to apply for the loan, they were pre-approved and they just had to confirm some details. It's real-time integration into the LOS, via the LOS's, API. And then if it's a deposit product, goes into the core. And if it's if it's an insurance related product, we're going into True Stage. And then, we do have APIs that allow people, and that's where we're chatting with various fintechs and working with various fintechs that can, hit our API to pull these personalized offers for the members that those fintechs are interacting with. Again, whether it's agentic or in some other system entirely. And then we also have the widgets that we're putting in to some of the things like, let's say, Scimitar, for example. So I know the credit union you're hanging out with right now, if they're on Scimitar, the member service representatives inside of Scimitar can leverage the widget to, essentially take these offers on behalf of the member and go right in, obviously right through our platform and right into Scimitar. So we're trying to combine
So
the front end and back end.
I was looking at this. Let me back it up here. I kind of had to slow it down. It was recent when I first saw it. So this is the widget. Talk me through it. Talk me through it like the 3-year-old I am.
Very funny.
Yeah.
You've built everything. Go ahead, Sam. Sorry.
So what you're looking at is what a member would see as they're interacting with their movement. And so they don't see it as movement, they just see it as part of the credit union's website or digital banking platform. And they're seeing that they're already pre-approved for a loan offer. And so this is based on a rules engine that we have within Movement that determines what products are available to members, and then also based on Bureau pre-screen data, whether that member is pre-approved, as Brian was mentioning. And so if they're pre-approved, they can see what they're pre-approved up to. They see rates that are personalized to them based on that Bureau data we have. We are cross-selling insurance products like GAP, like mechanical repair coverage, or warranty coverage like credit insurance. And it's really then the credit union determining what other key pieces of information might they need to fill out to complete that redemption. For pre-screened or pre-approved loans, it should only be a couple more fields of information. For applications, it might be a little bit longer if we have someone going through the full flow. But then it hits the LOS and we get a real-time decision back, which we can present to that member to say, hey, you're approved. Here's what to expect next. Credit unions who have done the work to automate the processes of docs and click and stip clearing could have loan docs in that member's email all in a single cycle. And so really slick in terms of how we are leveraging that personalized offer, that pre-screened bureau data, the cross-sell pieces of insurance products or other products or services that the credit union is looking to highlight. But then to Brian's point, it's all then going into that credit union's LOS to complete that transaction. If this were a deposit product, it would be opening that account real time in the core.
Yeah, I saw just a minute ago a couple things. One, this all lives on your site, right? So this is a digital storefront, so it's a cloud-based platform, so no lift there. And then the other thing I noticed was, and this is something that you and I've had this discussion a zillion times, Brian, which is, do we make them a loan then a member, or do we make them a member then a loan? Just curious how you're dealing with the validation with regard to that portion of it. These look like they're offers for existing members, but I'm just curious from a growth perspective, if you found a way around that as well.
Go ahead, Sam.
Yeah,
We're in the middle of that.
for prospective members, we lead with the loan. And that's just based on, pretty validated research at this point that
Yeah.
the consumer's there for the loan. That's what you lead with. And you give them the information they need to make that decision. And then you clear the charter, you clear the membership share. Right now, we leverage the credit union's account opening functionality for that new member piece. So we'll do the loan, we'll get the information and collect what's needed to redeem either that firm offer of credit or that application. Moving forward, we are looking at strategic partners where we could have that member opening piece also part of that upfront flow.
Yeah, and to that point, Typhone just launched, one of our sister companies launched with an awesome new member, new account opening solution. So we'll plug into them as well. Which is pretty cool.
You mentioned prospective members. Is that something that's customizable by the credit union in terms of the pre-approved amount? Or is that an engine process that you take care of on their behalf?
Yeah, so the credit union will both determine who's targeted. So they could either procure that list or work with a third party to procure the list in terms of who they're targeting for prospective member campaigns. But then the limit itself is dictated within our platform. And so they're leveraging bureau attributes, demographic information as allowed to determine what is then the pre-screened limit based on those attribute criteria.
So if I'm hearing that correctly, so if two different credit unions came to you and they both had the same prospect on their list, they would be served up identical pre-approved amounts. There would be no reason that they would come in differently.
It will be based on the credit union's determination. And so if they take the criteria like debt to income score, bankruptcy index, credit score, and they have a different risk threshold, their limits may be different.
Okay.
Yeah, it's very credit union specific. The credit union is driving. We're really just focused on providing a flexible platform that lets them manage their products, their pricing, their underwriting rules according to each FI. But great question.
Yep.
So back to the question I asked before. I mean, both of you chose
Yeah.
to, continue down this path. What is it specifically about this opportunity that really jumped out at you to say, hey, this is the one I want to really try to see through to the end?
Yeah, I'll provide my commentary, and Sam should do the same. I mean, one, True Stage is a hard place to leave. Like, really, it's a great executive team, a great team more broadly in True Stage. Obviously, deep 90 years in the industry. So it's a hard, company to leave. But running a fintech as a standalone fintech with fintech-based investors and serving the market that we love, that we feel as a product can really help them grow and compete. So to me, it was really about, it's all about the mission. If we're going to help our friends and family, the credit unions, we need to help them, at pace, and to do so as a standalone fintech. So it's the right kind of product, addressing the right market, addressing the right problem. But then the other aspect was with Demopolis Equity Partners in there. I mean, I've known a few people that have over 20 years. They focus on this space. They're operators. They're not just some investors. They're like, hey, this fintech, that sounds cool. They're all over, CUSOs. They're all over credit unions. They're all over community banks. And then the opportunity to build a board, a world-class board that, I can continually learn from. And the fact that we are really building out just a great team, Sam and others on the team that I can continually learn from. So to me, it was a great opportunity. So True Stage, not easy to leave, but this is the right product, right mission, and right investor group, and to make this work. But that's my take. Sam, how would you dive in on that?
Yeah, I think opportunities don't come along so often where you know that it's the right team, the right product, the right moment, and the stars align in the acquisition parent company that we have in Demopolis to feel like there's a ton of runway for us. And so I think it was an easy leap for all of the team to say, yes, like, please let us like really hit the gas pedal here, have less constraints in terms of really operating like a true fintech that is looking to achieve really lofty goals. And I think, that opportunity doesn't come along very often. And I think that the team is here for it.
See,
And
I
it
thought you were
is
going
it
to
is a
say,
lot of
I just
change.
wanted to work with Brian.
Yeah, no, she's definitely going to say that.
Mhm.
That was coming. That was next.
Yeah, very funny.
That's how you start,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, overall, I think, but it is challenging. I mean, I will say doing a carve out versus a startup are different.
Yeah.
And, it's a larger team that, has been through a lot of change. So there's a lot of kind of change management here. So, it is a little bit of off-roading, and, we have a GPS, but the signal's not always there, so what we know who we are, we know who we're serving, we know what we want to do, but, it's, going to be a wonderful, but also a bit of a messy process like anything. And, again, just, always listening to all of you and learning from all of you, that which we need to do, because this market is changing so quickly. And, with you
Amen.
guys as kind of visionaries and leaders in this market, we've got to make sure that we're keeping our heads up and not just spending the time with our clients, listening to our clients, but, kind of the vision and the testing that you're doing with, Best Innovation Group and the Innovation Club and all these things, looking further out, because we have to plan.
Yeah.
So I need to basically get out there and hang out
Yeah,
with you guys a little bit more than many
it's
others.
funny you said that, because something you said earlier caught my ear. You said, you spouted channels. You mentioned the branch and ITMs or whatever, but you said agentic,
I
and
have I
that's
jotted down that same thing. That
yeah.
definitely
You
resonated
can't
with
say
me
words
too.
like that and not have Glenn and I,
I
you
know.
know, not pop up and want to know what that means. Even
That was
Michael
a
Watson wrote
softball.
something down, and you know,
I
so
remember
yeah,
seeing
talk.
someone made that point. I think it was on, Blue Sky or X or whatever, that, any credit union has to have somebody, maybe not fully dedicated, but somebody has to be thinking about the agentic customer experience.
Yeah.
And I'm curious, I mean, obviously
Yeah,
you've got that on your list as a channel. How are you approaching that?
Well, we're actually working with, I mean, I don't want to throw any names out there, but we are working with So again, if you look at what we're doing, we're providing personalized offer engine, embedding it out everywhere. We have an API. So any agentic system can hit our API. And as that agent is interacting, let's say in the contact center with a member, they can pull from our API and surface a loan deposit or, insurance or protection offer to that member on the fly. So we're in, process of playing with those POCs as we speak. We're not providing the conversational AI on that side. Other providers are, but that's the concept.
You
The
know
second,
what?
yeah, sorry, go
Oh,
please.
good. No, you go.
But the only point I was going to finish up is where, ultimately, if we go down the point where true embedded finance and you're going to have, members with 15 different agents, one for savings, payments, investments, whatever, we know that credit unions and their systems need to be able to be found by those agents and interact with those agents. So
Yeah,
that's where
that's
our
where I was going.
infrastructure,
Yeah.
exactly. So
I
that
think
when I said
that's the value
agentic,
prop.
that's what I was talking about is we need to be able to hang out with and there's some great analysts out there and a lot of all the press we're reading and John, you probably have all this already built, quite frankly, where you have agents doing all these different things coming in, but that's what we're looking at. How do we support the credit unions to make sure that their products are being found by these agents that are representing members and then getting offers from our platform for those agents that ultimately by the members. And then they obviously have all the identity, the authentication, the authorization for whatever it may be. So there's all this fun stuff, and I'm counting on you guys to help us get there.
So I'll share a moment that I shared with Glenn. I had this epiphany about, well, I want to say early last year or late last year. What I was trying to understand was um, OpenAI had said they were going to help us shop, and they used Walmart and a mattress, which I love an AI's opinion on a mattress. That's exactly the sort of thing that I wanted to talk to me about. Anyways, I was thinking, what's the value proposition for that? And I had this epiphany finally. I was telling Glenn, when I was very young, I was 16, I got hit by a car. I'm fine, but the doctor looked at me back then and said, "Hey, one day that knee's going to really hurt." And guess what? That day is today because I just turned 55 and the knee went, "Oh, good. Now we're going to do this, right?" And I was looking up this gel that they gave me. Of course, I went to ChatGPT or something like that, and it was for my knee. I can't remember what it was called. But anyways, long story short, it knows about my knee, and it hit me. And so I went back. I had to book some travel, and I was getting ready to book it. And I went to ChatGPT. I said, "If you could book travel for me, where would you put me on the plane? And if first class isn't an option?" And it came back, and I think I sent you a screenshot, Glenn. It exactly said what I thought it was going to say. It said, "Well, given your knee and that you need to stretch, ideally," and it even knew which knee. It knew my left knee, and it was like, and it used port and starboard, which I don't know which side of the
Oh,
plane that is.
wow.
So it needs to.
Ahoy,
It
matey.
obviously doesn't know me that well because it would know better than that. I don't know any nautical terms other than SpongeBob, but I digress. And so it hit it. It nailed it, and that's when it hit me. I can tell Expedia where I want to sit on the plane, and they know that as a preference. But ChatGPT knows why.
Mhm.
And when you dig into that model, and that's the thing we've been really thinking about a lot around here at Big, and is the idea that inference, decision making, the graph that, why do you think they've been letting us talk to this thing for free for so long?
Yeah.
It's because it's building
Data.
a tremendous personal graph behind the scenes. But more importantly is the processing of that information. And I think you're so right. I mean, I almost want to run a promo, for every Canadian that says, "We'll give you $5 if you just go today into whatever AI you're using and tell it that you're a member of our credit union. And here, we'll give you the prompt. Just put this in there." Um, because I think that's going to be part and parcel to you talking about your car or something and getting advice on that. And it's always been about sort of finding that moment of decision. When
Mhm.
did, when do people really make the decision to pull the trigger on that car or that house or whatever it is? When's inception? And that we've always been trying to move that back. And given where you are, it seems to me that inception has always been with research, and we've tried that for many, many years. We tried it with indirect. We've tried it by providing car apps and things that would go look. And Brian, you and I have been through all of these models, but nothing I've ever seen compares to me just going, "Hey, where would you put me on a plane?"
Yeah.
And so I tried some other things. It knows about my dogs, and I need to get a harness because my little dog, he's a dachshund. He keeps backing out because he wants to go visit everybody. So I had to find a harness. But you just can't buy a normal harness for a hot dog like that. And I asked AI, and there is value there in sorting through that. So I think your point about the people having agents, and we've just seen this huge explosion with Claude and OpenClaw, and I've been, obviously researching that. But talk to me, that's what I
Well,
see as the future in
Well,
some
and to your
ways.
point, that's what I'm kind of why I think we're all kind of watching is what's going on in some of these other industries. So if you
Yeah,
look at even just, over the holidays, how are people shopping in Q4, just holidays of 25 and agentic shopping, obviously there's so many examples of that and the growth of that. So if these things are going down in retail, and then you also just look at, how more people are starting to use it for health, using it for financial wellness and budgeting. So you have all those, signals that are coming in around us. So to me, it's essentially here. The technology is there. To me, it's more about how do we make sure that credit unions and community financial institutions in general are prepared, to basically grow in that model and not be left behind. I mean, it's back to the whole relevance. And from a consumer perspective, you stated it perfectly. It's super simple. I want to build a budget. I've got, a question where I should sit, based on my knee. I want to know what's wrong with my knee. Not, obviously there's a lot of, hallucination still exists here, but that's the future we have
actually,
to be
I think
prepared
by
for.
and far, I've been very surprised that I think they're starting to lick that. I do.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was
Well, in the
looking into that
whole,
just
yeah.
recently because, a few years ago that would have been our number one, topic on this, and it really is become a
Yeah, it's
non-issue.
declining. Yeah. And then
Well,
like the open claw thing, though, I'd love to hear, because obviously that was big with, was the one, $1 billion first single person, unicorn popping over to OpenAI and where that's going, and just focusing on, the whole agentic future. So I knew I'd get you guys with that comment.
yeah, yeah, he baited us in
It
like
was, yeah.
like the nerds we are, Glenn.
Just,
We fell for it again. We've been Bodelled.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I love it. That's why I want to, like I said, want to learn from you guys.
Just
So
got
keep doing the
Bodelled.
research and
You
then,
become a verb, Brian. Well done.
yeah, yeah.
I've been
Just
being
reminded me
update
Bodelled
me.
since I was in my 20s.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
gotta say I
yeah.
like it, but
Yeah, yeah, same here. I
not just
just
by
need
him,
to,
but at least as well, the whole group.
yeah. Well,
So
that's why I just want you guys to do some research and help make sure that we're moving in the right direction.
it reminded me of you mentioned earlier on Finovate Europe. Just last week, I saw Dave Birch speaking, who I think really enjoys playing the old crank
Yeah,
but he was making the comment around agentic AI, and it's one thing, I think there's an interest, John. There is a genuine interest in where's the best place for me to sit on the plane.
yeah,
His point is no one wants to shop for a lot of these, whether it's deposit products or whatever,
yeah.
because it's
They don't
boring.
care.
But guess what? An agent doesn't care if it's boring. It's going to do it.
Mhm.
So it
gets
really
excited about it. It's kind of gross.
it changes the total
Perfect, I found
dynamic of
it. Like,
exactly
oh,
what the
okay,
the
calm
decision
down there, buddy.
criteria and the shopping journey is. So it's a pretty fascinating and like a lot of things, not every credit union doesn't have the time to sort this stuff out on its own. So
Well, all the protocols coming out, I mean, from, everything that Google's doing, Shopify's doing, obviously, Visa, on everything from the identification, authentication to the payments to the, yeah, all of this. Yeah. So this is exactly what I'm talking about. Here's John's already got stuff built using OpenClaw, full
So
agent.
yeah,
Yeah.
this is my open claw. It's really locked down. Zero skills because I'm afraid of it. But I'll tell a quick story because you'll appreciate this, and it's interesting because I want to get your feedback on that. So I wanted to give it something to do. So what I decided to do was I had this old little computer. It's a tiny little box that it's called a Raspberry Pi. It's a cheap little box, and I had this TV in my house that is just up on the wall somewhere because I didn't want to take the mount down because the first time I took the other one down, it left a big hole in the wall and I had to patch it. So I decided cheaper to put a TV up. So I had a TV lying around. So I told it, I want you to make something that will make me happy every day, and then I want you to do it and change it every hour. So what it did was it created a game about my dogs, which is what you're seeing here. Um, And for whatever reason, every time I check, Shanti's always losing. I've never seen her winning, but it's added all kinds of stuff. For example, it added these bones. There's a squirrel. The squirrel shows up with the golden acorn, and if they find it, they get points. And it just keeps adding stuff. It changes with the weather. It was raining the other night, so it was raining on the screen, and it just keeps going. But it's the first time we've really seen this agent that will do something. Um, so we'll talk to it here. Actually, it's easier just to do this. Hey, will you grab me a fresh screenshot and give me the stats from the server or from the Pi display? So now I'll send it out. You'll see it's typing. This is running on like garbage. Like it's a box that I think
Tiny
is in my
machine.
garage. It's not running on anything super special. And it's certainly not connected to any Cranium resources. It is completely
Air gapped here.
separated, but you can see it's had a good time building that. So let's see, how many lines of code do we have at this point
Treat quest.
for this game? I was going to make it Lawson Quest,
You
where
don't
it
want to
was
do
just
that.
a bunch of Cranium people chasing you, or you were chasing them around with a camera.
Yeah, it's the other way around. Yeah.
Yeah. And then Servati was in the doghouse over there, but you can see, oh wait, nope, Shanti's still losing. Still losing. I
Oh,
think there was one screenshot up here earlier where Shanti was in the lead, but just barely in a previous one up here. But it wakes up and yeah, there's one. One of the first times I've seen it, but it wakes up and adds addition and puts it in. So it's been interesting because I do think this is the beginning of sort of a. I mean, you just think about from the perspective of the splash it made, how many people wanted this that it would have such an incredible uptick from a guy that made basically a PDF library.
Yeah.
I became rich doing it, so more than I can say for me. But oh, it's 400 lines was the start of it, and now it is the core game loop. It's over 3,000 lines of code.
I mean, in the Innovation Club, you must be, and have been working on, not just these concepts, but prototypes and kind of proving some of this stuff out. So really
Well, and that was why
interested
I
in
was
where
curious
that's
about
going.
that last mile because
Yeah.
I think that's where there's opportunity here as well from an agentic standpoint.
Yeah.
Is the hardest part of any deal isn't getting them to click the button to accept. It's getting them to click the button to finish it. It's actually making the button for it to do it. That's the
Yep.
part that is the hardest. Um,
And making
and
it easy for the staff, the credit union staff. So
yeah,
if you automate it and have the, real-time integration to the back ends, the credit union staff doesn't need to deal with it. But
right. And I think this is the other interesting concept that I was looking at your product. I believe that the world is ripe finally for this technology could finally create the unicorn of a switch kit. And if you think
Mm.
about it, I could give it access to a voice, and I might do that. I'm definitely going to add a camera to the TV because I want to be able to ask it where the dogs are in the house. But the idea is, um, you know, I think that there's a tremendous opportunity. I've lost the thought. That was the dogs got
well,
me all
no, on
excited.
the switch kit point
Oh,
is a
switch
good
kit. That's
one,
where I was
and
going.
that's exactly where we'd
Right.
plug into
So
those. Yeah.
you don't need those APIs. I could give it ability to phone, and one day we're going to have to support this, and it's coming like virtual. I said this years ago, but we're going to need some sort of approved virtual um, joint, that is an agent that's been approved, and it can go on your behalf. But you could wake up and say, "Hey, I want you to move Citi and these credit cards over to these guys. Make the calls, get it done, and don't stop until you get it done." So yeah, it's pretty fascinating. Um,
Well,
the
John, the use case that really hit me, this is maybe 12 months, maybe 24 months ago when Perplexity was coming out with the agentic, and they used the example similar to your airplane example, but this one hit me in particular. You won't be surprised why. They're like, okay, I want to go to a sushi restaurant in Soho, and I want it to be a certain level, and it goes out and it's fine. So it's got to and get the reservation. So what's in Soho? What's got the top, opportunities and then get the reservation. So rather as a consumer using 3 apps or 4 apps, the agent obviously handles it.
well, and
Just
then and that comes back to this comes full circle to what we were talking about. If the agent's going to act on your behalf autonomously, then it needs to know you have a relationship or a preferred relationship
Mhm.
with, the credit union. And
Exactly.
that's been, that's why I was like, maybe we give everybody $5 to go, tell all
Yeah.
your agents, do you know us or something? Or, because I mean, it's almost like you're going to market the agents as much as you're going to have to market the people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Um,
exactly
Or it's
right.
going to have to know enough about, the benefits of financial institution A compared to B compared to C to make the decision for you.
Yeah.
And it knows the charter, it knows if you can become a member, and it enrolls you without even having to, you know what I mean? Like to have that dictated.
oh
It has
yeah,
better
and
rates than B of A and, all of
Hmm.
those
yeah,
things.
and
Yeah.
compare all that, or more importantly, understand. A lot of products are 80% the same and 20% different. It's the 20% that gets you to choose one over the other. There are great credit unions in every city. Which one's the right one for you?
Hmm.
It could be based on, uh, whether or not you can join, or what the common bond is, but it also could be based on the services they provide or what's out there. So I think that um, you're on the right track, and I think that having this is the beginning of that portion of it. Because the other thing I saw announced was OpenAI has now started including ads in their free version.
Of course.
I
Yeah.
haven't experienced it yet because I don't have a free version. I got to go check that out. But I'm just wondering, is that more like the Google AdWords, or is that, because theoretically it could be incredibly contextually based.
Yeah. And that's, to your point, I think, look, Anthropic's been going after the enterprise market and obviously has their P&L is looking pretty sweet. OpenAI is spending a fair amount of cash and going to the ad market and being able to personalize at a whole nother level is awesome. And that's ultimately where we're trying to go, obviously, for our financial institutions to have the level of personalization. So whatever, either the member finds themselves or their agent that's acting on behalf of the member and is authorized authenticated then authorized or whatever, they're making choices that are appropriate. So similar to OpenAI going with personalized ads, just like, DoubleClick pre-Google did way back when, I see why they're going down that path. And,
Well, and if you
you know,
think of it from a proactive standpoint, we're in this new world where instead of maybe getting alerts, you have your agent, check
always
on.
looking.
Yeah, it goes from there's a programming term for it called force reflex. Where's Guido? Where you either code the button to the action or you code the action to the button, and this is a reversal of that in some ways that is fascinating to me because um, is the new model of home banking going to eventually be, and there's a term for this that you'll hear, it's called MCP, and I know
Of
you know what
course.
it
Yeah,
is,
yeah,
Brian,
yeah.
but not
Yeah.
everybody on the call might.
Yeah.
They're not all nerds like you and Glenn and Mike. Look at Mike. So it means model context protocol, and it's this way that it can communicate with apps that are out there, and probably not that, but there's been several other ones that have come out. There's a commerce one that just hit from Amazon that is an agentic e-commerce platform that came, I think, out of AWS, if I'm right. So, you know, is there some point where you get sort of OFX on steroids? For those of you that remember, sort of the Quicken model, um, where and then are we disintermediated, and how does your tool help us with that?
Well, yeah, that's
Look
a
at
real
Samantha.
good.
She's like, "Oh, he went there. He did it." I might
Yeah.
as well just say CRM out loud. Ugh. Yeah, go ahead.
There is, the whole embedded finance, all the research over the last, 4 years on embedded finance has talked about the disintermediation risk associated with that for the financial institution. So again, to me, it's about the financial institution, the credit union needs to know their member, leverage their data, and make sure that that member is being served and those new members are being acquired, through the data. So it's a and that's where all the my hope for the industry. So Dr. Block, Dr. Black, as you know Lamont really, really well, he's on our board. I know he's meeting with a lot of credit unions in their boards. I know the three of you are, or four of you are doing the same. I just want, as a movement, a credit union movement, to have, the kind of the visionaries like all of you getting in front of the boards, getting in front of the credit union executives to really think through and plan some of these things. Because so many of the neobanks are doing this, and so many of the large banks are doing this, and so that's really
You
where
know where
my
you
head
could
is
do
at.
that? I'll
Yeah.
tell you where you could do that. Let me just talk to you. The perfect place to do that. Hey, Melissa, fire it up. And Brian, and Glenn, you should lead this valley. I'll tell you, a good place to have that conversation would be at See You Unplugged. That's coming up March 30th through April
What?
2nd. It's a perfect place because that's what this is for. That is the intended purpose. You know, when I talk about this thing, I always say that the best part of the conference isn't the speakers, though I'm frequently a speaker and I like to believe I provide some value. But my whole goal is to provoke you into talking to someone else in the hallway or to seek answers and to find that opportunity. And this takes out the speaker part and just shoots for the interaction. This would be a perfect place. What would you see that sort of consortium growing? Because I think that does need to exist. I'm 100% with you there.
Well, and it's moving so quickly. I mean, just, the whole exponential that, that's being discussed now, where you have, the LLMs actually creating the next version of the LLM. Like everything's just moving so quickly, and I just want us,
Oh yeah, I was listening to
not just
that
as a
today. I
company,
know you
as an
listened to the same
industry.
thing. Anthropic
Exactly.
has like something like 60% of their code to create another AI is now being done by 4.6.
Exactly.
So that's perfect. That's how Skynet starts, and it
Exactly.
ends in the T1000, which is
There we
great,
go. Well, yeah, I mean,
or
this will be great.
OpenQuA, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. So we need more CU unplugged, basically.
Yeah. So where can people find you? And my last question is, how long does it take to, I presume because it's cloud, you can do this in like a day, maybe less. Like if I
Yeah,
sign up now, it'll be up
yeah,
by the end of the day.
we can give access in a day, and you can start configuring products and campaigns right out of the gate. For lending campaigns, we just need you to work with your bureau on those firm offers of credit. But with cloud, you're right. Like access in a day, you can get off to the races and start launching campaigns. And then our implementation team will work with you to get those lending campaigns stood up.
How much of your base has moved to the cloud at this point, or is it more the new customers, new clients you're bringing on going straight to the cloud?
New customers go straight to the cloud. We have about a third of our base converted to the cloud and are hoping to finalize the bulk of that this year.
And the rest run on a server in Bodell's basement, right?
That's right. Yep.
Or
Yeah.
their basement, one of the two. They had
With
two options.
either basement, you could do either basement.
Yeah. You're assuming I have a basement, but yes.
That's true.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Glenn.
Now, just following up, you mentioned, where the best place to find you, movement.com, or what's your website?
Movementtech.com is the website, and there's contact links from there, or reach out to myself or Brian on LinkedIn, and we can get you connected also.
We tried to go for movement.com, but the number was like, and back to the .com days, as I date myself yet again, the number was huge. So we're like, Movement Tech sounds great.
Why weren't you movement.ai? That's what you need.
Yeah, I know, because that's what we obviously joke at Venture
Too
Tech
late.
all
I
the
already
time.
bought it.
Yeah, exactly.
But I'll sell it to you for a reasonable
Yeah,
price.
for reasonable.
All right. Well, I think we're at the end of our time here. Go ahead, Glenn.
Yeah, you'll be at GAC as well. Is that a safe assumption?
We will be there.
And we haven't had as much traffic as usual on the chat. I'm curious how many. I'm guessing a good number of people on this webinar will be at GAC. Would love
Well,
to know.
not just people. We need to be,
And the agents, yes. How many
and
will be
our
the
note-taking
AI
agents. Yeah.
bots? I'd like to know if they're going to be there as well.
So true. Yeah, we'll be there. We'll be in the in the exhibit hall, but
you will?
also
Okay,
just
so great.
around.
Easy
Yeah,
place
so
to track
we'll
you
be
down.
around.
So
It's
that's a great
wonderful to
place.
see you all.
Be a
Yeah.
great place to start
Awesome.
the
I'm looking forward to
conversation.
catching up. I got to run, but thank you everyone for joining us. And Mr. Lawson, I'm sorry I didn't give you a chance to speak much.
No, not at all. It's great to be a fly on the wall.
Yep. And Lou and everybody who's joined, we thank you. And all I can say is, and I believe this with my heart, Brian's doing it. I know that, it's a good group. It's a well-run team and just good people. And you can't go
Indeed.
wrong with good people. That always ends in good product and good service.
Well, likewise. Thank
All
you
right,
very
guys.
much.
Yeah,
Great to see
thank
everybody.
you.
And by the way,
All
he
right.
doesn't give me a nickel and never has for any of this, but that's all right.
That is
Bought
true.
me I think he bought me a drink once. That might be it.
Yeah.
All right.
Sparkling water for all.
Yeah. See you guys.
See you.
Take care.
That's good.
Bye.
Bye-bye.